Well, everyone, good evening. Welcome to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm Peter Pappas. I'll be your host this evening.
Morning.
I'm still not used to the morning
Did you take a nap?
evening thing. I need one.
Yeah, I had one. 20
You know
minutes.
what? I'm in studio with my co-host, Ms. Laura Musler. Thank you for being here, as always. We are proud to be the only homegrown conservative talk radio show in this region, and we do know that this is the smartest hour of radio. Our job is to give a voice to the conservatives of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and beyond. And with that, we're going to dive right into our show. So we have a busy evening ahead for our viewers. We're coming up on the end of the year.
Yeah.
So what did you do last week?
I got my hair did.
You got your hair did. Was that the appointment that I erased by accident on your calendar?
Yes.
You're welcome. I was trying to help the several. Well, you have like 9 Gmail addresses, so do I. So yeah, I don't know. Your universe is different than mine because you have an iPhone thrown in there.
Yes, and I found out that the system email is different than the Gmail, which doesn't make any sense. It's Gmail.
Thanks a lot, Steve Jobs.
Yes, it makes it very complicated.
What is it? Posthumously making our lives complicated.
That's
so you got your hair did,
and my brother from another mother, I said, had a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
Jeremy
yep. Stanley.
Yep.
Vice chair GOP.
Second vice chair
GOP. Yep. All right, big doing. So I had lunch with. I'm going to say I had lunch with a client last week.
You're going to say that, or you did?
I'm going to say that, but we're friends. I met him working Board of Elections actually in our polling precinct. He was the chief judge, and got to know this guy. He's a Vietnam vet. He was a pilot, but he wasn't dropping napalm. He was taking pictures. He was a surveillance kind of guy. And we get together about every month or every other month just to catch up. And just a super guy. And I love hearing some old stories. But had lunch with him. Business duty calls. It is the end of the year. So planning for 2026. I am not. Are you a New Year's resolution person? Me either. Not. Because to me, the resolution is meant to be broken.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. No, your fat butt's going to be eating some Haagen-Dazs by February 15th.
Anybody that says they're going to lose weight usually puts more weight on.
Right. And they deserve it, too, for announcing, I'm going to lose weight.
That's not nice.
You deserve to gain 5 pounds.
No.
Just for fat shaming the fat kids over here, making us feel like, oh,
tell anybody I've been on a diet for over a year and a half, and I've lost 40 pounds.
I think I might have mentioned something about that earlier today.
A year and a half it's taken me. Mm-hmm. My God.
Well, keep on the journey. But the way I feed you around here, I don't know. A lot of Baldinos.
Well, I was reading
and Arby's.
That's true.
Jesus, what else?
That's true. But I will say that I was reading something, and did you know that our body? You know how they talk about 3 square meals a day?
Right.
You're not supposed to do that. Mm-mm. Did you know that? We're supposed to have, like, back in the day when we were the healthiest, the fittest, and whatever like that. They would have like 4 meals a week. Your body is conditioned to work like that.
The kids call it intermittent fasting these days. Mm-hmm. I didn't know I'm doing it by default by waking up and having only caffeine and rage for breakfast. And then by 1 o'clock we eat lunch, and I'm done eating by 8. Like I might eat another meal at 7 or 8 o'clock, and that's it. So I'm eating in a 7-hour window.
See,
not on purpose though.
Okay. Well, I'm much bigger of an intermittent faster because I go for days without eating, and I'll be sitting here and be like, you want some lunch? And I'll be like, I am hungry.
Yeah, I haven't eaten in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, whatever works for you. I do want to make a note that Pastor Josh will be rejoining us in 26. I did speak to him last week before Christmas, and
I've checked in with him periodically, and
we miss him. He says, "How's it going?" I said, "I've been recording every week."
I guess he's not checking in yet. Now, are we going to get him twice a week too? Or?
No, probably just on Mondays. Okay. So, but I don't know. His schedule is quite crazy. As usual. We'll take Pastor Josh as much or as little as he's able to give.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's good to see him always. Well, so what do we got? National politics. You want to jump right in? I mean, the John Locke Foundation. Tell me about John Locke Foundation.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that they always come out with some fantastic information and with like facts and numbers and statistics to back it all up. Mm-hmm. I know they do a fantastic job with after action reviews of elections and things like that. Mm-hmm. I tune into them to get different numbers and stats and things like that because I'm a nerd. Yeah.
I think this show is full of nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. The John Locke Foundation sends an email with all the facts and stuff to back it up. And their most recent was kind of a year-end review, which we're going to do tonight, and we're also going to do on Wednesday to round out our year. But there were 3 main things that John Locke Foundation sent out about. So we're going to talk about Duke Power and their rate hikes. We're going to talk about the 50-year mortgage that was proposed earlier this year, and something called JDIG, which is the Jobs Development Investment Grant. We're going to talk about that.
And we just learned all about that because I knew nothing about it, never heard of it, nothing.
I have to say, our prep sessions really turn into going to school.
Right.
It's very frantic. I just want everybody to know we actually do research and read things. So
and ChatGPT.
And ChatGPT does a lot of work, but couldn't do it without you. So
could you imagine how difficult our lives would be trying to prep for a story without ChatGPT?
You know what? We would have found a way. We're smart folks.
But how much easier it is. I appreciate AI. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. If you told me 2 years ago how much AI I would be using on a weekly basis, I don't want to say daily yet, but weekly. It's been intimated like in commercial real estate circles and restaurants. I mean, hell, I ordered a biscuit from Bojangles 2 weeks ago, and
you just got it.
AI took my order. No,
really,
at the drive-through. Yeah, and a friend of mine went through there and had the same experience and said that the girl at the register says, "Oh yeah, we love it because we can take like 10 more orders in the same time or whatever." And my friend looks at her and is like, "That's going to take your job. You know that, right?" So right now it's perceived as helping. But
somebody's actually got to make the food, though.
Yeah, somebody does until they figure out. I saw Waffle House is working on a robot to make hash browns, scattered, covered, smothered with the cheese and the onions, and it comes out of a dispensing thing. That's pretty cool. But and when
are they real potatoes though?
Why are you going to go there? Why?
Because
why does it matter?
Okay. I'll tell you a story.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go, off topic.
Waffle House was not on our topic for this evening, but go ahead.
But recently, some of the beef that I've been buying, when you cook it, it's weird.
Yeah.
And I know they were talking for a period of time about like remaking meat into something. Something
artificial.
Artificial.
Yeah.
I cooked a pot roast for 12 hours and it still cut like a steak.
Tough as anything.
It wasn't cut. You could eat it. It was not tough like that, but it didn't fall apart like it was. And that's like the second or third time that's happened. And I'm like, how could you cook meat for 12 hours and not just be falling apart?
I first noticed those things changing. And maybe that's because I was old enough to pay attention right after 9/11 when our economy was kind of beat up and the grocers were looking for other cuts of meat to sell that weren't a ribeye. They were like the eye of round or some other like secondary cut. And I saw then that we're not being sold what we used to be sold. And I think with the hormones and everything else in the meat now, I think it's just
something's going on.
So if you have, now we do have a local farmers here down there on, not Sapona Road. What is the road down there by Highland Lumber? It's Person Street, goes into Cedar Creek Road.
Cedar Creek Road.
Cedar Creek Road. There is a local farm.
As soon as you said it, I knew it.
See, there you go. Yeah, right. When you found your keys, you don't have to look no more. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Why the hell would I look anymore? Last place you look. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. But Cedar Creek Road, there is a local farm that they do slaughtered meat and stuff they grow on the farms.
I'm gonna have to check that out because Sam's Club, I'm like, this is like the third time. It doesn't happen always.
Nothing is inexpensive, and I'm okay with paying, but I want it to be edible. So anyways, there are local farms that could help out, but
we should have that local farmer on here.
I think that's a great idea.
Oh my gosh, write that down.
Hey Jim, write that down. Okay, yeah, okay. Jim, I'm going to put him on camera eventually. He just needs to just be hanging out as a producer kind of thing.
But we got to comb his hair first.
Yeah, he does need to. Yeah. So all right.
See, he did say that he does his own haircuts, and it shows.
Yeah, we can tell. Yeah, we know. Yeah. Well, so look, all right. So let's get to Duke. So there's a quick reality check for the year-end review. Power bills, okay? North Carolina regulators approved multi-year rate hikes for Duke. So it came out to about 11.3%. I like when we say about, but then we get a specific number.
Right, about
it's 11. About 11.3%.
If it would be like about 11%.
On Duke Energy Progress and about 14.6% on Duke Energy Carolinas over the 3-year window. Okay. So basically from 3 years, from year 0 to year 3, 11.3 or 14.6%.
And that's going to be, people are going to be feeling that immediately because higher bill, it's not a talking point. It's a housing budget problem. And when folks get into this pattern and then the next round, it's already queued up. So, Duke is going to be asking for another rate hike in late 2025. So
here's the policy angle. Okay. So North Carolina's HB House Bill 951 set carbon targets and ordered what they called a least cost carbon plan. The law says that least cost and reliable service, but the debate is whether the current path is truly least cost once you factor in reliability and grid upgrades.
And if these plants get shut down early, customers are still paying off the old plant, even though it's still viable and can be used, while paying for the placement plant. So very, very strange that the law is written like this, but it's like we're paying it twice. Plus the incentive structures matter. A regulated utility earns a return tied to capital investment. So if the model rewards building, can reward building expensively.
And we're going to come back to that. So, North Carolina public staff, they list approved returns on equity around 9.8 and 10.1%. So what that means is the money that Duke invests,
I was just going to ask you that.
They get a return on their equity. So if they put $1 in, they get 9.8% against and 10.1% for Duke. So it's like they're guaranteed a return on their money.
Who guarantees that?
I guess the state does, because the commission has to make sure families aren't the automatic ATM for every project. So
what's the fix?
I realign some incentives so Duke is rewarded for actual, affordable, and reliable outcomes. And regulators have to enforce this least cost with teeth: nuclear, sensible natural gas, which I don't believe exists, real cost controls. They have to be part of the honest conversation. So why do we not have nuclear on every corner? It's 2000.
On every corner?
Well, I mean,
yeah, I don't know about all that. But
I mean, Doc Brown and the Time Machine, they should be buying plutonium on every street corner, right? Wasn't that what he said in 1985? I'm sure you have it on every street corner.
I just find it very strange that our government is encouraging Duke to close, and how they're encouraging them is, even if their plant is operating at full capacity and doing really, really well, and they're like, we want a new facility. We're going to close this facility down, even though it's not completely paid for. It's still operating. It's still working.
It still has a mortgage.
Yep.
Still has life.
Yes. The taxpayer has to keep paying on that. There's no loss to Duke. And the taxpayer's got to pay for a new place too. Well, why are we closing down the old place? Don't we need more energy anyway, especially with AI and all of that stuff? So why are we closing down anything?
That's a good point. The AI is going to be a stress on our grid as well as our water. And we're going to talk about that a little later too. But those data centers, every time we hit enter on a question to ChatGPT, I saw a statistic like how many gallons of water it can, because basically you got to cool the stuff.
Right.
So, because I was thinking, well, what does a computer need water for? But you got to cool the damn thing or it'll melt
servers,
down.
They're like underground in water cooled areas and stuff like that.
Microsoft even did a test. They put it in the ocean. Like they filled a cylinder with some kind of non-conductive liquid, like a mineral oil or something. Well, probably not mineral oil, but anyway,
I was gonna say mineral oil. That sounds like it'd be
contradictory to having minerals. So, but they tested it for like a year. They just buried this like capsule of computers that was filled.
Say that word again.
Capsule. Like that. Capsule. Yes. Well, so anyway, but that was to mitigate the heat. So people don't realize how much heat is generated, what it takes to cool these things, whether it's water or mechanical with electrical. I mean, it's a big deal.
So why are we closing down plants, especially ones that are operating just fine?
Our government has so first of all, government doesn't really do anything great in the private sector. So I think this trade-off with Duke, not to defend them, that they get a return on equity built in, is that there had to be something in it for them.
Yeah, but if it costs you 25 cents to get 10 cents back, that's not a good investment.
No, that's not. But also the government has not authorized, I haven't heard of any new power plants being constructed.
Neither have I.
I mean, we had...
How's Sharon Harris doing up there? That's a nuclear plant.
Well,
that's the closest one that I know
about. And that's one of the older models. Does
that mean it's going to melt down anytime soon?
No.
Okay.
I think that was built around the time 3 Mile Island was completed, probably shortly after. And 3 Mile Island, was a partial meltdown. It was a big cleanup. And it scared the hell out of everybody. And then we had Chernobyl in 1986, which that's a whole... Have you ever seen the Chernobyl series on HBO? I love that thing. It's really well done and really scary too, of how lockstep the Russian people were with each other to their detriment. Kind of reminds me of some party politicking.
Yeah.
But I did like, they're like comrade soldier. There's certain parts I'm like, I like that. Comrade. I like that.
Should I start calling you comrade?
Comrade. I mean, look, if it didn't have such a bad communist connotation, it's camaraderie, comrade. That's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
But at any rate, we had 3 Mile Island, we had Chernobyl. Everybody's scared to death. But the fact is, nuclear done right is the cleanest and most efficient way to move forward. There was a proposal that Fort Bragg might be on a list to get a contained nuclear reactor. So now they make these things that fit on the back of trucks.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They're built in such a way that if they lose power, they get to safe themselves. They're not right now a nuclear power plant, if you don't run water through it, it'll overheat and melt down.
Okay.
But these new ones are built that even if you remove power, they automatically by design make themselves safe. Like they don't melt down. I don't
believe that.
No, it's a thing.
Is it? Where did you hear that?
Listen, even a sandwich maker knows how to read some stuff.
I was going to say, are you getting your news on TikTok?
I am not, actually. I do. So, when I'm not like looking for, I don't know, on the internet,
swipe right, swipe left.
I might, swiping. When I'm done swiping, I do happen upon some like scholarly articles or whatever, and I start going down the rabbit hole and Wikipedia, and I follow like 10 links. Don't
pay attention to Wikipedia though.
Why not?
Because that's like self-reporting type
stuff.
But
I think the internet has matured quite enough now that we can spot BS generally.
Okay, yeah, like nuclear power plants on the back of a pickup.
Well, not a pickup, a flatbed, but no, essentially what Fort Bragg was proposed was basically a self-contained. It doesn't require a river. It doesn't require this whole campus.
Okay.
And my opinion is bring 2 of them. Bring one for Fayetteville, one for you guys.
Yeah,
we can,
if they're safe,
we can have it out there. We can have job training on how to operate these damn things. Yet another thing Fayetteville Tech can teach.
There you go.
And then we help our power, and we can stop buying from Duke Energy.
There you go.
Because Fayetteville gets, I want to say 95% of its energy from Duke Progress.
Really?
Yes.
One of my houses is South River, though. Does that come from Duke?
I think they buy it too. I don't think they generate their own.
Really?
Don't think so. So we buy it from Duke.
I've never been down that energy rabbit hole.
I
know nothing.
There's a handful of transmission lines that come into Fayetteville. And I remember within 10 years ago, we had a blackout because those transmission lines in summertime just went kaput.
Is it a blackout or a brownout?
It was a blackout, complete blackout. But then it only lasted for 6 or 8 hours. I mean, they fix it, but
they say 9 months after a blackout, like a bunch of babies are born.
Well, yeah. What else are you going to do?
Yeah. I don't know.
TV's off. They don't want to talk to each other. Second best thing she can do with her mouth full. So what?
Did you just say that?
Look, if the only way you make more money is building more stuff, what's going to happen? You're going to build more stuff, right?
That's right.
I mean, but
especially if you're guaranteed to not lose money.
Right. It's a win-win-win.
Well, no, it's a win-win. Taxpayer lose.
Well, yeah, we lose. Do you think that, so people watching or just Laura, I mean, do you think North Carolina should slow plant retirements until replacements are proven reliable?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
So
yes, I don't think that they should be closing anything until everything is operating. Like if you are going to close one, you should be opening 2 based on our energy needs increasing instead of, let's open this one and just close that one. No, let's
I think a lot of
stacking.
I'm a big proponent of nuclear because to me, that's the most efficient way around. But I also know that's the biggest roadblock the government has to a power plant being open. And why, for the life of me, would you think open? There is no such thing as clean burning coal. Okay. You're still burning coal. Maybe you scrub more emissions. You're still burning coal. So
I'm not against coal. So
no, I'm not either. But if I had wind is a joke.
No.
Solar is a joke.
Nope.
You can't recycle those damn panels. Wind turbines.
And actually, if they leak, they're actually worse to the environment and the grounds around them. And when they break, they're useless. And
see, I believe in like having a solar panel at your house with a battery, like a point of use type of thing. Like if you're in a remote area, you should have backup. You should have that. But for our utility to have a solar farm, that's a waste of. But the government gives them subsidy to do it. So back to Duke selling us 95% of our power, though.
Okay.
We actually have our own power generation plant. PwC has one, but they're not allowed to turn it on unless Duke tells them to.
That's kind of dumb.
That's the deal with Duke, is that basically you'll turn your plant on if we need to supplement or we need you to backfill another need.
Well, we're going to charge you around, what is it, 13.3%?
Well, and I will tell you this, and I don't want to vilify PwC, but it's hard to really accept the propaganda line of we have the lowest rates, but it's like compared to who? Because it's a monopoly. I don't have a choice, and I haven't lived anywhere else that I paid a light bill. At least I lived in Atlanta for a little bit, but how do I know if it's cheaper than someplace else? I just remember on some Twitter a long time ago, they posted, we have the lowest rates. Well, okay. Compared to what?
Compared to anybody else that you can get electricity from in this neighborhood.
Exactly. Lower than the next guy. Yeah. So, think about this though. How's this going to tie in back home? Military, fixed income households, they get hit with higher utility bills. And, we have a lot of people. Our median income here is in the 40,000s. And we are, if I remember, median income in Fayetteville, Cumberland County is we're ranked 50 out of 100 counties. So not only is it median income is 40, we're also the median of the whole list.
And the whole point is this is going up, and that's going to be a direct for the Democrats to be, look, your electricity has gone up and everything is less affordable. And this has absolutely nothing to do with national politics.
No, not at all. This is all at state level.
Yep.
What was it? The North Carolina, you asked me earlier, what's the NCUC, the North Carolina Utility Commission? I mean, we have our own people for this.
Thank you for showing how stupid I am.
You looked at it like I did, like, what the hell's NUC or NCUC or whatever? Okay, so all right, well, let's shift gears a little bit.
50-year mortgage.
50-year mortgages sounds like a great idea.
No, it doesn't.
So let's talk a little bit about housing. So that was another key thing that John Locke pointed out for year-end review. So it's a shiny idea making the rounds. The 50-year mortgage. It sounds like it's affordable, but it's a payment trick.
Yep, it lowers the monthly payment a little. So people think it fixes a problem, but the price tag shows up in total interest. Stretching the same loan over another 20 years means you're paying far more in interest rates.
Look, it's very simple math. As a realtor, I mean, this is stuff that I swim in, but $300,000, I think in Fayetteville, the median house is in the 200,000 range. So this isn't a total horrible example. $300,000 loan.
Okay.
A 50-year term. Might cut about $150 a month. So what is that? $1,800 a year less that you would have to pay. But it's going to add something like $350,000 or more in extra interest alone. That's a small monthly discount, $1,800 a month. A year versus $350,000.
Yep. Yeah. And what about your equity?
That's where they're trapped. You're going to build equity at a glacial pace. So even on a 30-year mortgage, I would say, what does it say here? After 5 years, you might pay down around 20 grand on the 30-year loan. So your balance will be 280,000, but only a few thousand on a 50-year. Refinancing, selling, or moving gets riskier. And if more buyers can't afford, so to speak, the higher prices, payment-wise, demand is going to go up. And if supply, available houses to sell, doesn't rise, the prices are going to go up.
And not only that, but if you think about Fayetteville, we have such a huge turnover with the military here that they're selling their houses after 4 years, and maybe they have a little bit of equity. Where if you put it in a 50-year mortgage, you're going to owe money on your home unless it's gone.
They'll be upside down.
More and more people will be upside down in their houses.
Well, and we spoke about this a lot earlier in the year when property tax valuations went out. The markets are volatile, and the valuations went up so high because we had the Corona years in part of the last 8-year cycle that drove the values up because it's market based. What is somebody willing? It's only worth what somebody's going to pay for it. So if the market takes a dive, so say the soldier's here for 3 years, market takes a dive, he's going to owe money at the closing table if he tries to sell. Even if it increases, he's not going to make much.
Right.
So,
that means lots of foreclosures.
But something about mortgages that people may not understand, your payment never changes. You always pay $1,000 a month for the 30 years. But what does change is the mix of the interest and principal as it goes down the ladder.
But your payment does change.
Well, your interest and taxes will. Your taxes and insurance will.
Right.
I'm talking about straight mortgage.
Okay.
So just principal and interest. But what people don't understand, though, is if you can make an extra $500 a month payment, that goes straight to the principal balance. So what you actually owe goes down.
Yep.
So by doing a little bit extra every month, you can take a 30-year note and pay it off modestly in 18 years or 15 years.
If you take the way I was taught, the minimum you should do is take your monthly payment, divide it out over the year, and make that increment payment. If you can,
so you make one extra payment
a year. If you can do more, then do more. Even if it's $5, it exponentially reduces the rate of interest that you're paying over time.
Think about the people that got stuck buying a home in the last few years. Interest rates are 6, 7, 8%. Where can you make 6, 7, and 8% of your money right now? And I'm not giving out financial advice, but maybe just follow the bouncing ball. Well,
gold.
What's not risky at all? I mean, gold. Yeah, you can hit somebody over the head with it at least. My philosophy has always been, if I put another dollar to my mortgage, I'm making that return on that dollar.
Right.
I'm making that interest back for myself because that's 6% I didn't have to spend next month. Or it makes sense in my Greek arithmetic.
I understand what you're saying, but you're not saying it right. But I understand.
Oh, I know. It's totally jacked. I know. Yeah, totally.
But here in Fayetteville, everybody's going to understand exactly.
Yeah, don't underestimate the power of the Fayetteville. Look, it's getting a 50-year mortgage, lower payment, higher price. you're just delaying the inevitable. I mean, a 50-year mortgage, like saying you can afford a steak because the restaurant lets you pay over 600 months. Eat now, pay later. That's not going to work.
No, I'll surely pay you for this burger next Tuesday. Is that what?
Right.
Is that?
I'll pay you a shoot.
How does Popeye do that?
I don't know, but that was an Office quote, Jim. You remember when Michael Scott got lost and Holly went out looking for him? No, that was Jan. Yeah. So in the later episodes, when he's like getting lost, he doesn't have any money. He's like, I will pay you this today for something next week or something.
That's originally from Popeye, not from The Office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, The Office did it better.
Okay. I'm sure.
Or what is it? Simpsons did it. You remember that South Park episode? Simpsons did it. Yeah. So this is what my concern is as an agent, but as a citizen resident here in Cumberland County. Mortgages are usually where most Americans have their wealth. Majority of their wealth, their nest egg,
it's
is
the
in
largest
the
thing that most people will buy.
Exactly. Usually that's why residential realty is so much a mix of psychology and counseling and lots of other things, because this is the largest transaction most people are going to make in their lives.
Right.
But a 50-year mortgage prevents generational wealth being created.
Right.
So people that wanted to make something for their families, it's not going to happen for them the way it did for somebody with a 30-year mortgage.
That's right.
So we're really hamstringing future generations.
And if you think about it, you buying a house at 25 years old and a 50-year mortgage, you will be paying on your house until you're 75 years
Essentially,
old.
You're paying for your coffin.
Pretty much.
You're living in your coffin. And that wasn't
as opposed to 25 to 55. And now you're probably going to live to about 75. So you have 20 years where you're like, I don't have to make a house payment. I just got to pay the government to lease my house.
This advice is pay cash, but since not everybody has $300,000 just laying around.
Let me pull out my stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hey, Jim, go back to that pile I got back there and just break me off a couple hundred, But yeah, to me, it's very, very scary, because you have younger folks, they're trying to not be renters. And this is getting a mortgage is in any way is appealing to a buyer. And I feel like this takes advantage of their position that they're desperate.
Yep.
They want to get out from that rental, and they deserve to get out from that rental, because we're going to have a nation of renters if we don't watch what happens with our economy in the next few years.
That's true.
So did I thoroughly scare the piss out of everybody yet? I don't know. That's kind of intimidating.
It's kind of depressing to think about that.
It is. We're going to have some fun in a little bit. We have one more John Locke topic. And remember, this is all your fault. So we're going to eat our vegetables first.
It is.
And
I subscribe to this stuff. I read this stuff on a daily basis.
So the angle here is that when the government announces job announcements like, hey, we got 15,000 new jobs, they're not really jobs. And we're going to talk about the Job Development Investment Grant. Since 2003, it did create about 2,800 to 3,700 jobs per year. Now,
how many?
2,800 to 3,700.
2,800.
Yeah, not thousands.
Okay, so 2,800 jobs in a year.
But these are announcements.
Okay.
They're not jobs. They're commitments, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't.
Right. The governor celebrated a record year. He says more than 33,000 job commitments. That was the headline.
Right.
But a commitment isn't a paycheck. It's a plan. It's a plan to get jobs, and plans change.
They sure do. So to be fair, JDIG, Job Development, for JDIG for short, the state's big incentive program, it's performance based. So companies, they only get paid after they meet the benchmarks that are laid out. That's good. But the real question is, how many deals finish as promised, and how many got terminated or withdrawn?
It's funny you should ask that. What is the exposure for taxpayers?
So this is where it gets muddy. The legislative reports show statewide maximum liability for existing grants is in the billions of dollars. John Locke Foundation argues that announcements have grown far faster than the actual job creation, and that failures rise as the program scales. So the failures get bigger as the program gets bigger.
Right.
The point is not to never recruit. It's don't confuse the press release with actual prosperity.
He's announcing 33,000. In reality is 2,700.
Yeah, on average over the times that we looked at.
Well, from 2003, it's a long time. It's on average, over the last 5 years. No, we're talking about over 22 years.
You have the numbers about how many grants, active, complete. Go ahead and tell us, how many total grants were there? Do you have those in front of you?
Oh, hold on. Let me go to that
Because you gave them to me. I wrote them down.
Did you write them?
I did write them down.
If you wrote them down, then I
listen sometimes.
So let me find out where I put that information, because I did look it up. Okay.
I love this. I'm ahead of Laura.
Yay. You didn't. I didn't
say on top of. I said in front of.
Okay. Alrighty. So what was I looking up?
The number of JDIG grants.
Okay.
How many grants this program has given out statewide?
Okay. They have given out, 449 JDIG agreements.
Okay.
And only 177 are still active. So that's a good thing, right? Hundreds have been done. Nope. Only 50 of the 449 have successfully completed. That's less than 10. That's about 10%. That's actually less than 10%. 222 have been terminated or withdrawn, which means that they didn't fulfill their obligation. Oh yeah, they've already failed.
So this begs the question, like, who's minding the store? And from experience, last couple of years, I've learned that economic development of the different counties are the ones that, and there's a state Department of Commerce as well, but these companies get the incentives after they do the work,
right,
and after they've employed and hit the benchmarks. Then they can file their taxes and say, hey, by the way, the JDIG exposure was this.
Right.
And then they get credit.
That is the good part of this program, because normally the government says, here's a bunch of money, go create jobs. And then the money gets spent, no jobs.
Wait, well, I'm not Somalian and I'm not in Minnesota. They're not going to hand me any money.
Yeah, there's more with the Somalia story that I sent you.
Yep, I'm going to read more of it. That was crazy.
Insane. But yeah, so at least there is that they're not giving out the money first. So you have to actually, do your tax returns, hire the people, pay them or whatever, and then you get reimbursed. So that is the good part of this program.
But what was murky when we were researching this was exactly how many people. It took you a lot to come up with that 2,700 whatever number. And furthermore, what employer can qualify for a JDIG grant? Because I told you about Fayetteville Tech had a workforce development program. They had $1 million. And what it was basically they were trying to get a pipeline for their workforce development. That means developmentally challenged folks or people that are recently released from prison, people that are difficult to place in jobs. Right. So what they did is they came and saw me at the restaurant. They said, okay, we're going to, if you accept our applicant, which I still get I still get to interview them, but they're going to send me somebody to apply. You have to pay them $15 an hour. But I think they were going to pay all of their salary for like a month. And then for the rest of the year, they're going to pay $750. So they pay half of it. That's a pretty good deal. So as a business owner, there's a lot of programs if it works. But the reality is, $1 million. 18 months in, I haven't had one applicant.
Okay.
So, but they have two people I think they had one or two people running the program. So you got salary coming out of it. You've got these people going out, and this is not me getting on the people that work at Fayetteville Tech, but I've not seen an applicant. So
maybe nobody wants to work at Baldino's.
That's fine with me. They don't have to, hey, they can have a Coke and a smile someplace else.
I'm just wondering where that $1 million is. And can we see an accounting of it?
So that would be a Auditor Bullock question. Wednesday, we're going to talk about the lottery. Just this afternoon, Auditor Bullock released the report on the North Carolina Education Lottery.
I have not had the opportunity to look at it, not even for a second, because I've been doing something else.
When we were at that chat with Auditor Bullock, I didn't know
secret location.
I didn't know he was that close to releasing the report.
I thought he did. Oh, he said he was.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I must not have paid attention. I must have been on my phone, the picture indicated.
I was going to say, if there's a picture online of exactly what you were doing while Auditor Bullock was
swiping.
Talking.
I wasn't swiping right or left. I was answering text.
Okay. Probably. Well, while he was giving the information about the lottery.
Sorry, Mr. Bullock. I'll pay attention next time. I was just look, when I was a kid in middle school, I was the one that spent a lot of time in the hallway because I wouldn't not talk to people. Right. One time, the eighth grade earth science, I think, I got in trouble, and Mrs. said, either be quiet or leave my classroom.
Well, that's not a choice.
And I'll be damned if I didn't slam my book closed and got up and left.
See, I never got. I did.
It was a pretty heated lunch hour though, because I had to spend it behind her desk. But
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. See, I was always in the front of the class taking notes.
Freaking nerd.
I was a nerd. I'm still a nerd.
What do you mean was?
I was just gonna say. See, I just said I'm still a nerd. So we're good.
Well, look.
At least we agree on something.
I want to celebrate wins for jobs in North Carolina, but we got to count actual results, not the headlines. We have to go past. You got to read past the damn headline. Don't lose your mind until you read the context.
That's exactly right.
And always, we're going to talk about this more in these next, because we're going to start talking about some shows we did this year. Hold our electeds accountable. It doesn't mean be nasty.
Nope.
It doesn't mean,
I would love to have Josh Stein on here. Aren't we talking about getting him here? That would be great.
I am working on getting Mr. Stein on the show because we need to hear from our electeds.
I would love to have Val Applewhite on here too.
We're going to invite a lot of people this year. That's one of the things. You see, you're spilling all the beans already. But
I'm just saying I would love to. I didn't say that we were going to. I just
the
said
Carolina Cabinet, and we're going to talk about like what we really want to accomplish here. But this is supposed to be, I don't want to say friendly in the wrong context, but we need people to come on here and understand that we're going to be fair, but we're going to ask questions, and we're depending on them to be professional enough to pretty much handle it. I mean, we're not going to give them some, what about that, illegitimate kid in your basement or something, it's not.
Who has an illegitimate? Tell me later.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, my point is on that one. We're not here for the salacious. We're here for,
we want knowledge.
I want to see a little bit of your humanity. I want to see a little bit of, can this person work the room? Are they knowledgeable? Do they know? I think you were discussing the job description. Do they know what they're supposed to be doing?
Okay, so my idea is, anybody that's tuning in, is to have a job description here of whoever we're interviewing, potential candidates or whatever. So then when they say these off the wall things like, the trees need to be cut down on the street, I'm like, okay, well, exactly how on the school board do you expect to accomplish that goal, so that we can start honing our candidates into what their actual job description is, as opposed to just getting headlines and talking about crazy stuff.
I think a mission overall for you and myself personally is just, we want to see a better caliber of candidate.
Agreed.
I want them, I dare say, I want them better trained.
To at least know what the job is.
I hate to say that, but it's like, because they're not Pavlov's dog.
Right.
But come on, man. You got to know
what
the boundaries of your office. It's when I hosted the Candidate Academy at the Chamber this past summer, I think. My God, time flies. But just identifying the silos of, this is the federal, the state, the local. This is what you can do.
When you have city council members talking about homelessness, you're like, well, that's a county issue, though. The county handles that. And it'd be great if you guys worked together, but that's a county issue. They address these issues that sound really, really good.
People think it's not a county issue because they're homeless downtown Fayetteville, but Fayetteville is in Cumberland County.
Right.
So that gets misconstrued, but you also get a council person that, will bring up some national, it's like, look, potholes and streetlights are not partisan. I
remember that somebody pulled up a video of you talking about a woman's issue, and you were running for city council, and you're like, well, that's not really my place to say anything. And they had a conniption fit. Yep. It's like, well, on city council, how is he going to affect a woman's issue anyway? That's a federal issue. So that made no sense, that people being all pissed off because you didn't have the right answer.
Everything I do with women is consensual, and sometimes I make them signs. I'm not worried about it.
TMI. Oh my gosh.
There's a release
anyway,
for that.
Next. Okay, let's do a run of the show. Let's look back at our highlights, because
let's see. In my brain, there was a multiple choice how to answer that, and I picked the absolute worst one. Yes, I did. So the big themes that we discussed here on the Carolina Cabinet this year, the first one was civic reality, local elections deciding daily life, but the turnout for these elections is painfully low. Accountability in our government. We talked about PFAS and Gen X, water safety, that stayed a recurring pressure point. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Everything okay?
Yeah. Somebody just opened the door. It's fine.
So the next one was, I'm just talking about the big themes of the year.
Oh, okay.
Practical local government. We wanted budgets, term lengths, continuity versus change. So we talked about the 2 to 4 year terms, how decisions actually get made, how the sausage is getting made behind doors. We had small business and community stuff. We talked about immigrant stories, Patty Gibney and the bar culture, entrepreneurship, the do it right leadership, hope and momentum. I've said it a lot of times, Fayetteville has a lot of talent, and we tried to showcase. So in this case, it says Fayetteville as a comeback story. We have the basketball team coming back. We have the hobbyist with the makerspace and Christian Sorensen out there, and just simply civic pride, people that are happy to live, work, and play here. I guess just we're pro community, we're pro results, and I'm really allergic to empty headlines and stupid people. I added that last part.
Okay.
But all right, folks. So look, this is our year in review, not the national talking head, not the cable news circus. These are the real stories, the real guests, the real issues that hit Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and even North Carolina.
And we're doing it like we always do. The truth, the receipts, and maybe a little bit of fun. Because if you can't laugh, then you can't survive politics. And we're going to hit the big themes: elections, accountability, water. You already said it. Community, business, and the guests who actually brought something to the table that were, added.
Well, look. Thanks. If you listened, you called, you shared, you argued politely now, be nice. showed up to a forum, or you even just told a friend about the show, you help build what we're doing here.
And if you're new here, we want to welcome you. The show exists to give locals a voice and to remind people that local government is not a hobby. It's the things that run your everyday life.
It sure is. So we're going to rewind to 2025 a little bit. We're going to lay out what we're doing in 26, because I'm not slowing down. And if anything, Laura is pushing me to be better every week.
That is true. But we're not going to talk about 2026 today. That's going to be our Wednesday show.
We're only going to
We're going to be here on New Year's Eve. Can you believe that we are dedicating our time to this show on New Year's Eve?
I'm going to be here at 2:00 and probably in bed at 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve. So
Me too.
You know, the biggest non-event, some glass fiery ball falling in New York City.
It doesn't even fall. They don't even make it like, I want to see it like,
would you want to see it loose on the people?
Hell yeah. Like rolling down like
some kind of thunderdome.
No, like what is that show? Indiana Jones?
Oh,
like, fall off the wall and roll, and all the people like take off running. That would be a New Year's Eve party that I'd watch.
I don't have to outrun the ball. I got to outrun you.
That's exactly right. Well, the ball being big, it would like roll over you and get you too. But
it would. So
that would be a good New Year's Eve party.
To the audience, and these are going to be things that we're going to ask after we syndicate the show. What was your biggest local story of 2025? What's something that maybe we did cover that you liked, or something that you would like us to cover in 2026? We really want an answer to that. And if you watched us most of the year, what guests would you like to see us bring back?
Right.
You know, you don't really have to tell me why, because some of the guests were they were good guests.
They were.
I had a lot of fun this year.
Your new co-host is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, let me know when she gets here. So
Don Brown.
We had Don Brown running for U.S. Senate. We had Mr. Roman Gutierrez, who is the president of Young Republicans of Fayetteville.
I think it's chair.
He's the head dude of the Fayetteville Young Republicans, and he's working hard to engage the younger.
And
every group I'm around is like, oh, we need the youth. We need the youth. It's like, well, quit acting like parents and let us
actually hand off some information.
Yes.
That's exactly something that I'm working on right now, is handing off information. Share information. Okay. You can delegate. That's fine. You can delegate to anybody, old, young, whatever. Share your knowledge. The young people are coming in and want to help, and you're like, no, I'm going to hang on to this.
Because they don't want to take time to explain. We had reporter Myron Pitts, Fayetteville Observer.
I liked him.
And this is just I think the oldest episode was back in July, but we had Mr. Grilly Mitchell, who did win his seat as a Hope Mills commissioner. Mayor Bellflowers
got reelected.
We had fun with Kathy Jensen. I made a joke about Dalmatians or something.
I told her that's who she should be for.
She was. She did it. She did it. And then we had the Independent Candidate Alliance, John Zoka, Jackie Taylor, and I think Bobby Hurst was in the room that night.
They're all so smart. I feel dumb when I'm in the room with them.
They are a force to be reckoned with. So,
and I'm pretty knowledgeable when it comes to politics. And so are you, but I felt dumb when they were in the room.
Yeah, look.
And very intimidating. John Zoka is very...
I'm okay with admitting I have more to learn. I'm okay with that.
It's when people say you're so intimidating. Am I intimidating, or are you intimidated? I was intimidated.
Well, look, if it taught us anything, local elections are the highest impact and the lowest attended events in our community.
And that's the wild part, because people will get online and Facebook troll for hours, but they won't spend 10 minutes going to the voting booth.
Right.
I mean, we have election
Eve
talk. We had candidate conversations, journalists. We even talked to the party, PAC side. And the same issues kept showing up. Turnout.
So we even covered on election. So we had that show, Election Eve. We covered stuff like rumors that were going around. There were some real legal concerns. I think it was about I think it was in Wilmington. They had the text messages talking about buying your vote for city council. I mean, come on. If you get those kinds of messages, don't play detective. Report it.
That's right.
And, I don't think we've heard anything else from it. I haven't seen a challenge to the State Board of Elections. I haven't seen anything. I don't know what New Hanover County is doing down there.
I have no idea. But week after week, we talk about low turnout, and it's not about, it's about you being represented. And if you don't turn out, the only people that are being represented are the people that turn it out.
True.
So,
I mean, well, Myron Pitts, when we were talking with him, he hit it really dead on. And that's what I like about it. He kind of just cuts through the fluff. Government is pragmatic. It's not left or right.
Right.
Okay. It's roads, budgets,
correct.
Public safety, parks, permitting, leadership. I think, go ahead.
Okay, so let's challenge our people in our year in review. If you want different outcomes, you've got to do more than just post online. You've got to show up. You've got to volunteer. You've got to vote. You've got to drag your friends and your friends' friends and your friends' cousins' friends to the polls. No matter if you're the left or right, I don't care. But we need more than a 13% turnout or 16% turnout in Fayetteville, North Carolina, regardless.
Okay. So to anybody watching or listening, what's one decision in the city or county that you saw affected your daily life? And furthermore, what is it going to take to get you to show up to a forum or to just at least vote next time?
Well, I would say that the people that watch our podcast, though, usually are probably 80% at least are actually showing up engaged.
Yeah.
Yes, because otherwise, why would they listen to us?
Right.
You know,
because I mean, look, I'm so remarkably handsome. Yeah, you can cough. You can choke on it now. It's fine. Okay. But one other thing I wanted to mention about Myron's episode before we move on, his brother was mayor. And what I liked was getting the insight of the behind the scenes of how much work the mayor, he would talk about Sunday dinner or whatever, how his brother would be reviewing the packet and preparing. These are not, there's a lot of people that run for the recognition that have no idea how much time needs to go into it. Not how much time you're going to spend on it, but how much time
if you're going to do it right.
If you're really going to do it.
So if you think about it, okay, so all this talk about, I bring him up a lot because I have utmost respect for him, but our mayor, he's been a mayor for a long time. Imagine how much on his off time, his own time, his personal time, because he doesn't get paid much, but he's got to spend all that time because I've never seen him not prepared.
Yeah, he always presents well. I mean, and not present well just because he dresses well. He knows what he's talking about.
That's exactly right. He takes the time to be studying, I guess, all of these packets and things like that. That's pretty impressive because I've seen some council people, I'm like, do you even know what they're talking about? Because they ask these questions and I'm like, I just read the packet that they gave out.
I'll go a step further and say, is she sleeping up there or was that English?
Why did you say she?
He, she, whatever.
Okay, thank you.
Doesn't matter.
Why has it got to be a woman?
If they're just up there kind of zoned out, that's not my fault. What else did I want to say? Earlier today, I got a message from a friend of mine. She saw a county commissioner sitting at a bar and was just kind of looked frazzled.
No.
And I told my friend, I said, let them be. You do not know the kind of stress they're under.
That's correct.
I said, as a business person and an elected official, they are probably just feeling the end of the year and have mercy on them.
Right.
Well, next is let's talk about the water and accountability. We had PFAS and Gen X was a big deal in this last year. And I think there were, 3 shows. Did I just...
Christian Sorensen.
Yeah, but that was only...
election eve. There was only 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them
in November and December.
Well, and then there was a lot of talk too because I went and spoke to Eastover. I spoke at the.
It seems like a lot more because you were very involved.
I was
in that.
all over that. Yeah. So if you listen this year, you know that water is not really a story; it's a daily reality. The PFAS and Gen X, they're not theoretical. People are worried about their kids and getting sick.
Yep, and if we're honest about it, the system moves slow. People get tired of hearing the same things. Don't change. Hearings that nothing changes. The tap water is still the same. So we talk lawsuits, we talk court involvement, and the cynicism people feel when only folks getting rich are the lawyers.
Yeah. So, I mean, our year in review takeaway, look, it's simple. Accountability means solutions for our community, transparency, timelines, tangible steps, getting filtration, infrastructure built, and follow through.
Well, we're not asking for perfection, but just honesty and show us what the progress is, Well,
we're going to keep reporting on it in 2026. I mean, it's a major issue for this community. We're not going to...
So you changed your line. You said you were going to say something about a scorecard. I was like, who's keeping score?
So I will tell you the Chamber of Commerce is going to be doing a scorecard on our electeds coming up. That's one thing.
That's on the electeds, but what about the water?
Well, that's going to be what we're going to grade them on because water directly affects the infrastructure that attracts business. So if we're not progressing there, then the business community is upset. So
I'm glad I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Are you a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
Fayetteville, Greater
Fayetteville
Chamber.
I'm saying you out there, you.
Yeah, you guys.
You people.
The 2 Utes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what?
The Utes. Don't remember.
Yes, I do.
You know what I'm talking about.
My cousin Vinny.
My cousin Vinny, yeah.
I was just playing the part, the what?
But the what? The who's? The water, look, point in use filtration is something that I think they've proven that if you have that in your house, it will lower your exposure to PFAS. The problem is we have PFAS in the air and we have PFAS that eventually rains down on us because groundwater evaporates and comes back down. So but
PFAS
there is
everywhere. I got PFAS for you. There's some PFAS
there's some
for you.
Yeah, you're like Oprah with the PFAS poison.
That's right.
So
well, not me. Comores is.
Right. So we're going to ask this question on some further posts, but I want to know from people that listen or watch us, what's your confidence level in local and state leadership when it comes to water, 1 to 10? And what's one single concrete step that you want to see in 2026? So Jimiford, got to remember. Okay, he's making notes. I kind of feel like I'm making checks my body can't cash sometimes.
You think so?
Yeah, when I'm just throwing stuff at him. Tonight's a movie line night.
Well, how do we check? Because we asked Jim to take a lot of notes and do stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what we asked him. So how do we know if he does what we ask him to do? Because I don't remember what we asked him to do.
I might just go back and search the transcript and say anytime I mention Jim and see what happens.
Jim, get a haircut.
It's like search Jim, search haircut, search damn it, Jim. Yeah. So, I want to, we have to stay on top of the water issue. And again, we're not trying to be rude to our electeds. We're not trying to throw a fit, but reasonable accountability to the people that elect them. Mm-hmm. They're asking for your votes. If they were given your vote, they need to be accountable to you.
Right.
And they need to show you why they deserve to be reelected in a certain case.
Remember, the people that you put in office are not your leaders. They're not leaders.
No.
They are your representatives. And if they don't represent your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions, and what you would be doing or how you feel or whatever, then they're not your representative and they don't need to go back to your office. So before you just vote because somebody's got an R next to their name or a D next to their name or a whatever next to their name, think about, does this person hold true the values that me and my family hold true?
Agreed. Look, when you win,
I get in trouble for doing that.
The 49% that didn't vote for you, if it's that close, are still represented by your office.
That's right.
That's why you talked about job descriptions and trying to hold them to the duties of their office.
Right.
I think picking up the damn phone is nice. Just being accessible, being visible.
Right.
I think goes a long way. That's one thing not to give them too much adoration or whatever, but the county commission, they've been a lot more visible.
They sure have.
Since this new board took over.
They sure have. I actually remember I said last week, I said I was going to call the Democrat chair, Derek. He's my friend. We actually, yes, I
know you're friends with Democrats, blah, blah. It's so awful.
And I asked him, I said, do you see, because I see all of the commissioners out doing a lot of things. And
outreach.
He said at the Democratic functions, they don't really see them. So I'm wondering, does that mean that the Republicans are out in the community and the Democrats aren't? Or is it the opposite? Or did the Democrats just go to Democrats? And
remember, we took 2 Republicans off, put 2 Republicans back in. So we didn't, it was a net 0.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that they're more visible now, the ones that we put on there. I see Kirk Deviere, who's a Democrat, everywhere. I see Pavan Patel everywhere. He's a Republican. I see, I see him sometimes. Who else? Who's everywhere? Glenn Adams, everywhere.
So Glenn is Mr. Picture. He is always in a good mood. He is always happy.
Always puts a smile on your face.
He really does. And but Glenn has traditionally always been pretty visible, but I think maybe Kirk and the younger guys maybe energized some of the, I don't want to say older guys, but the previous sitting people. And, maybe that was what we needed. Just let Kirk, the youngin, let him run. He's not that damn young, but let him set the example of being more energetic and giving these guys something to maybe
being out in the community, passing the torch on to the next generation.
Well, I think it means a lot if you who wants to go to work with people you hate? That people quit people before they quit the company, right?
That's true.
So if they have a friend at work, it's going to make them want to go to work. So I think by increasing the visibility, where maybe they might be seeing fewer gripes coming at them just for being visible.
Right.
One thing when I was running for commissioner was I noticed when I went to the little towns, Godwin, Falcon, Eastover.
What are those?
Exactly. They're like, well, we appreciate you coming, but nobody's ever come out here. I'm like, it's 20 minutes, so it doesn't take a lot to let somebody be seen and acknowledged. And they have been included in a lot of things since this new board took over. So anyway,
pretty impressive.
There's that. I'm going to save.
We're about 4 minutes over.
We are. My goodness.
Time flies.
We really do. So I'm going to take us out of here. And we will see everybody on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Sharp.
We're going to have
not Greek time. It's going to be regular sharp. Okay. 2 p.m. sharp. We'll see everybody there. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you.